to this computer. Yes. Okay. And I also need to share screens.
Okay. Well, why don't we get started?
Yeah, my connection is not the best though.
Yeah, we'll probably have a little delay in the communications, I would imagine. So we'll probably have to make sure that we give Sagai an opportunity to jump in when we need him to and would like him to. So we might need to wait a few seconds anyway.
Yeah. Well, I think with getting started, first of all, with the ESGR, the Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve, and we're part of the Department of Defense. Our job is to promote information about the Guard, Reserve, and working together with the employers. You know, Sagai probably couldn't continue doing his job as the Army Reserve without the support of the employer. And that's why we need to say thank you, Jody and Dr. Vachel, for the support that you give him. And in his write-up, he did indicate that you are very supportive of what he does. And that's always encouraging to hear. And it's always, these are fun things that we do. We get to go out and present these awards in a way of saying thank you, thank you, thank you. And the first award is a Patriot Award. And Sagai put you in for this award, Dr. Vachel, who was busy with Dr. Vashani, I guess. So we'll pretend she's sitting there someplace. So Jody, you'll have to accept it for her. But it's awards to individual supervisors and not the entire staff, but mainly to an individual for the support that they provide to Sagai in his tour of duty and in and out. I mean, an Army Reserve is probably kind of like the National Guard. They come and go so often, whether it's a 2-week training or a week training or a year of training. So really, Sagai, we really, really thank you for the commitment that you're giving to your Army Reserve and the support you're getting back home. And it's good to hear that the department back here is in touch with you, keeping you informed of what roads are going to be built or what's going to happen. So that's very encouraging. But this award is the Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve to recognize Kimberly Vachel, Upper Great Plains Transportation Institute, as a Patriot employer. And like I said, these are the greatest ones to do. The first one I ever did with this, the guy looked at me and got tears in his eyes, and I was kind of a loss, saying, it's just an award. So, but along with this, if you would make sure that this pin, when you receive it, goes to Dr. Vachel, and we appreciate all that you do. And understand, Jeanette, the awards will be mailed now to the office.
I mailed them yesterday to Jody.
Okay, Jody. So I don't know if you get them in Grand Forks or Fargo. So if see that gets to them. And along with that, we also have a statement of support that we ask that, and I know NDSU has signed one of these before, Dr. Vashani. In fact, we're trying to set up another meeting with Dr. Vashani and another award. But this award it's basic statement of support for the Guard and Reserve. And Sagai, you're Army Reserve, I retired Navy Reserve. So we appreciate what all we have done. But it recognizes the Guard and Reserve are essential to the strength of our nation and well-being of our community. So, and that just goes on so many times that whether it's the National Guard being called up for floods or the Army Reserve calling up whenever they need you, and that's a federal program, just like the Navy Reserve. So again, thank you, Jody, for all that you and your department do to support the Guard and Reserve. And at this time, I'm gonna give you the time, Sagai, a few words, and you did have a nice write-up about Dr. Vachel, so I'll give you some more time to, and we'll wait because there's a communication gap here, that's for sure.
All right, thank you so much. So I started with UGPTI in December 2019, and before that, I was a student at NDSU. So studying, I'm doing a PhD in transportation and logistics, and I had opportunity to get a full-time job with UGPTI. And when I started working, 2 months in, I received an order that I was deploying 9 months out. So, one thing that really impressed me is how the institution took the deployment from Jody to Dr. Vaco to UGPTI director. So they all welcomed the news and they gave me the room to go for any training. And during that time, I was in and out and they were all supportive. And Dr. Kim actually gave me a room to go to. So whenever I go for training, she would not send me any email regarding my work. She would let me complete my training. And whenever I come back, she updates me and brief me on what happened the week or the 2 weeks that I left. So we had weeks back-to-back training. I had to go for CLS, which is combat lifesaver, which is 1 week. After that, I had to go to annual training, which was 3 weeks. And then I went home for a week. And then I had to go back for weapons qualification, which was like 5 or 7 days. And then during that time, I was working on 2 projects with Dr. Kim. So she actually accommodated me to complete my training. And when I came back, she gave me time to readjust, and I was able to complete the project, one of the projects, and the one that I was not able, she actually took it and bring other people to work on the project. So just that helped me feel really comfortable and be ready for my deployment and to serve the country that we all love. Yeah, so that's the reason why I had to nominate her and nominate the school. It was really, really good.
Thank you, Guy. That's very, I mean, talk about support from the employer. It's outstanding. And I think we need to visit with you a little bit more because we got some other awards that I think we can work on in the future. Jody, you want to respond from Dr. Washington and everybody else there?
Yes, I would love to. Thank you, Dave. First off, thank you, C-Guy from Dr. Vacal. She and Dr. Tolliver were called to a budget meeting with Dr. Brashani this morning. That's why she wasn't able to join us. So she sends her sincere apologies for not being able to physically be here to accept this award from you, because she feels that you are such a valued employee, and she felt very honored that you had put her in for this. So she asked me to step in because we had it all arranged. So again, she sends her regrets and wishes you a very safe time on your deployment and safe travels. And I know that you and her are keeping in touch. So she hopes that you continue to do that. And on behalf of the Institute, Dr. Vacal and Dr. Tolliver, I want to thank the ESGR for your support and recognition of our program directors, who is Dr. Vacal, who truly, along with our whole institute and researchers, support our service members and our military. We do have a few military members, and myself as a retired active duty person, we wanted to make sure that C-Guy had all the support, full support that we could give him, along with all the benefits that NDSU offers for our service member. Because again, they are critical to the safety of our country, and they have a role to play, and our role is to support them. So I appreciate and we are honored to receive this award, and also want to thank you gentlemen and your committee for the work that you do to recognize organizations like ourselves, because I think that also encourages others to continue and to provide better support to their employees when they receive awards and recognition like this. But again, Sigai, you are the most important one here, but thank you for taking the time to put Dr. Vackel in for the award and to recognize her efforts. And I will truly give her a call after this meeting, and I will be able to provide the recording to her so she can hear your kind words. Thank you.
Also, make sure you let Dr. Bashani know that she received the award, because
yes,
he's one of our big supporters, and we'll have to do some more work on all the benefits and programs that NDSU provides for this military. You know how many military personnel you have on your staff?
We have 3 retired military personnel and 3 in the Guard or reservists.
Okay.
So yeah, one thing I wanted to mention that I forgot to say before was we will take that certificate and we'll have Dr. Tolliver sign that commitment to the Guard and Reserve, and we'll get that framed and put up in our hallway so that all of our employees, staff, and students know that we are a supporter of the Guard and Reserve.
Okay, thank you very much. This time I'm going to call on Delton Steele as he's director, the chair of the ESGR for North Dakota, who lives in Minnesota, but that's okay. he can look out his window and look at a lake.
Yeah.
Delton.
Well, yeah, thanks, Dave. Well, yeah, so I, you know, these, as Dave mentioned, these are always just a lot of fun to be a part of, and that's really our main mission. Although there are 3 parts to what ESGR does, as probably both Sigai and Jody are aware, having served in the military. But you know, awards are a big thing. We do education for employers and Guard and Reserve members. And we also offer a mediation service. It's free if we ever have an issue between an employer and a service member. And we're very fortunate in North Dakota that very patriotic state, very supportive. Upper Great Plains Transportation Institute is a prime example of that. And it's obviously embedded in your culture to support your servicemen and women and really make sure they feel that when they're away that they're valued, the way you keep in touch with them. Obviously, it makes a difference, and it moves a service member enough to where they want to do and submit a Patriot Award for their employer. So first of all, Sigai, thank you for doing that. And I know as busy as you are being deployed, but taking the time to do that really helps fortify that bond between the employee and the employer, and makes life for other service members and employers a lot easier when they see the example that you as a service member set, and then the example that the employer is setting as well. So these always excite me when I get to be a part of these. It always makes my day to be able to see especially, you know, Zoom isn't a bad thing because now, you know, if we'd be waiting a long time to present this if we're going to wait for Sigai and everybody to be in person, but here we can reach literally across the planet. And we certainly all hope that I know when we're allowed to do some traveling again, nothing would make me happier than to be able to meet all of you in person. I have another 3 years in this position. I've already completed 1 term as state chair for ESGR in North Dakota. And just so you know, in all transparency, yeah, I live in Minnesota. My heart is in North Dakota. I grew up in North Dakota. I just retired at the end of the year. But my most recent job was the regional president for U.S. Bank based in Fargo. I was the regional president for Eastern North Dakota. So I was located in downtown Fargo for the last 15 years of my 40 years of working for U.S. Bank. So Dr. Bashani is actually on my advisory board and a good friend. And so the work that goes on at NDSU across all of the footprint that NDSU serves is very important to the state of North Dakota. And yeah, you know, I hate to say it, but sometimes I think a lot of the organizations are kind of well-kept secrets within the state. For example, your organization and the work that you do. And I went back, and I was somewhat familiar with it, having lived in Fargo, but I went back and looked at your home pages today on the internet, and I'm saying, man, there's a lot of work that's going on there that probably flies under the radar a lot of times. But the part to bring it all home and to keep it in context is that and why we're here today is celebrating a service member who provided an award and an employer and an organization that is really doing an outstanding job of supporting that service member employee. So my congratulations to Sagai, and thanks, and to Jody and Dr. Bacall, I think I've got that right, and to the whole NDSU organization and Upper Great Plains Transportation Institute. Just thanks so much for all you do.
Oh, yeah.
Dave, I'll turn it back to you, Dave, or Sagai.
I asked Paul, do you have a few comments, Paul? Did you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you well.
Very good. Sagai, Jody, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm very impressed. The first thing I did was, maybe like some of you, looked on the internet to find out what was this institute. I had never heard of it. And our youngest son, who I'm with right now, graduated from NDSU. And I asked John, I said, you ever heard of this? No, Dad. So we both looked it up, read through it. Very impressive what the Institute does and the footprint that it leaves for our state and our nation. It is incredible. And how the National Guard works with the Institute, and how the cooperation was very, very prevalent, and so proud to the moment that I have right now to witness this. I feel very honored. And Jody and Sagai, my hat's off to you, literally. Literally, yes. And I just would like to thank you sincerely from my heart. You've made my day. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good luck to both of you.
Thank you,
and
Paul.
the Institute.
Yes. Jeanette, the one that keeps us all going. Any comments?
No, I don't have any. No.
Oh, okay.
I have one more. I have one more, Dave, and then I know Sagai, I think, wanted to say something. I probably cut him off, but
finish.
One thing Jody, now that you're retired military, but obviously you know about ESGR, and I know Sagai, he's a busy person right now, but we're always looking for volunteers, and we have a very good organization up in Grand Forks. Jody, if you're looking for any volunteer time, we're a great organization to be a part of. And Sagai, I would, we have active duty Guard and Reserve members that are even part of Dave's group in Fargo, even though they serve, through their employer or whatever, they are ESGR volunteers as well. So if you happen to have spare time, keep us in mind. Always looking for new individuals to be a part of ESGR, and you two are just great examples of what ESGR stands for and what we support and do. And the good thing about it is, even somebody like me, and I'll admit, everyone knows that I never did serve in the military, but I've always supported the military and always have been very fond and have been very involved in supporting the military. And I guess that's how I ended up with this opportunity to lead this organization. And but nothing makes me more proud than being able to wear this shirt and wear that Department of Defense emblem and be a part of it. Even though we're a volunteer organization, we are part of the Department of Defense, and we all take that responsibility very seriously. So with that, Sagai, I know that I cut you off before, and we'll let you bring it all home if you have any other remarks.
Personally, I'm just so amazed that you guys actually did the research and read about UGPTI. Like, so many people don't know about UGPTI, but what UGPTI does across the state and across the country is phenomenal. We do a lot of transportation research, transportation safety, bridges, road construction research, a lot of them. So I just want to say thank you to Jody and thank you to all the community that put this recognition together and give this award to, I would say, my institution, because I love working there. I love studying there. Thank you.
Hey, Sigai, thank you. And a year deployment, I've been on a year deployment. Only mine's been at sea, so it's totally different, but it's always good to be done and come back home and get back to work where you appreciate the work that you're doing, and so do we. So it's a guy and Jody and all of you at United Transportation. I thank you enough, and NDSU. So that is all we have, and I thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. And somebody in Grand Forks will be getting in touch with you. I can guarantee you.
Yeah, that would be great. I love that you had put that plug in there. I'll reach out to you later today and get a contact, because yes, I'd love to be part of this organization. So thank you all for taking time this morning and allowing us to celebrate with Sigai, and we're just really truly honored.
Thank you.
So thank
Thanks
you
so
again.
much, Jody and Sigai. Take care.
Sigai,
Thank you.
be safe
over there.
Yes.